Hey everyone, Mr. Pat here, and I got another very exciting Cozy Corner reading today. So since one of my previous lessons were about vermicomposting, I'll be reading Yucky Worms by Vivian French and illustrated by Jessica Alberg. One day when I was in my grandma's garden, Grandma dug up a slimy, slithery, wiggly worm. Yuck! I said, throw it away. Throw it away? Grandma looked horrified. Would you throw away one of your friends? You can't be friends with a worm, I said. You can't even tell which end is which. Yes, you can. Watch. Grandma put the worm down and it gave kind of a squirmy wiggle and disappeared really fast, pointy end first. As it rounded and vanished, Grandma said, there goes its tail. I bent down to look and I could see a little tunnel that it left behind. Where did it go? I asked. Home, Grandma said. It's an earthworm. It lives underground. But what does it eat? Dirt? I want to know. It eats tiny, tiny stones and bits of dirt, Grandma told me. But worms eat other things too, like rotting leaves and flowers and fruit and dead insects. They especially like eating at night when it's cool. The stones and dirt help to grind everything up in the worm's stomach, and then the worm poops it back out. Grandma pointed at the flower bed. Look, can you see? I bent down and I saw what looked like a weird, long, curly worm made of dirt. That's worm poop, Grandma said. It's called a cast. And you know what you recycle things? Well, worms do it too. There's still a lot of goodness left in the things a worm eats. And when the goodness comes out again as poop, it helps the plants to grow big and strong. And as the worms move around under and on top of the soil, the poop gets spread around the garden. That's why worms are my friends. Grandma gave me a thumbs up. And it's not just their poop that's good for the plants. The tunnels they dig loosen the soil so roots can stretch out and air and rainwater can get in. But it's dangerous being a worm, Grandma said. I stared at her. Dangerous? She smiled at me. Lots and lots of animals think worms make the most delicious dinner. Birds love them, and so do moles, badgers, frogs, hedgehogs, foxes. Even some slugs eat worms. And human beings accidentally slice through them with their spades and spikes them with their forks. It's a tough life. Cutting them in half doesn't hurt them, Grandma. They just turn into two worms and keep on growing. Grandma shook her head. Poor worms. Lots of people think that, but it's just not true. She put her fork down. Time for a snack. Grandma had tea and I had orange juice. Can I dig up a worm, I asked. If it rains, Grandma said, the worms will come up on their own. I took a cookie. But what if it doesn't rain? Grandma winked at me. We'll use the watering can and pretend. I finished my cookie as fast as I could. Can we trick the worms now? Grandma filled the watering can and I watered the ground. Then I stood back. I didn't want worms chewing at my shoes. They only put their heads out, Grandma promised. It'll be a while before they do. And Grandma was right. I had time to eat 2 more cookies before she said, look! Wow, I said. I could just see the tip of a worm above the ground. Now watch this. Grandma stomped her foot and the worm disappeared. Did it see you, I asked. Grandma shook her head. Worms don't have eyes. They feel vibrations though. And a thump like that might mean a hungry bird is landing. Danger. Grandma dug her fork in the ground. Up came a lot of dirt and wiggly worms. She picked one up and washed it in the watering can. Mustn't drop it, she said. They can't really swim. Grandma put the clean worm on some paper and held it near my ear. I could hear a tiny rustling noise. What's that? They're covered in these little bristles, Grandma said. The bristles and their muscles help them move. I've got muscles too. I bent my arm so my grandma could see. If you got so many muscles, she said, maybe you'd like to help me plant my sunflower seedlings. Okay, I agreed and then I thought of something. When I go to school on Monday, I'm going to say that I got lots of new friends. Good idea, Grandma said. but I said I might not actually say they're worms. Now that was the end, but at the end of this book, there's a little how to be a wormologist. So I'll read all those for everyone if anyone's interested in being a wormologist. So how to be a wormologist. Look for worm cast in your garden or in the park. Leaves sticking up out of the ground or worms on the surface after it rains. Experiment by watering a dry patch of grass or dirt and watching to see if worms come up. Tapping on the ground to see if you can make a worm believe it's raining. Or carefully digging up a fork full of dirt and counting how many worms you find. A worm in the hand. When you pick up a worm, remember to be respectful. A worm is a living creature. Check how it feels. Is it smooth? Is it slimy? Can you feel the bristles? Watch how it moves too. Now, is it younger or an adult? Adults have that clitellum, which is like a paler yellow ring around their body. And put the worm back on a newly dug soil and watch how it wiggles away. And always, always wash your hands after touching worms. And that is it, everyone, for our little Cozy Corner reading today. So I hope everyone enjoyed that little story about worms. And I hope everyone enjoyed the lesson on worms too. So I'll see everyone next time at the next Cozy Corner reading. Bye!